Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Learning Now Simple, and today I'm going to teach you a very interesting topic in UAE SST, which is Muweilah. So what is Muweilah? So Muweilah is a historic site in UAE which is located in the coastal town of Sharjah near the modern day airport. Now, excavations have found that this site was principally occupied during the Iron Age II period, which is roughly between 1000 and 750 BCE. Now, Muweilah grew rapidly as the trade between the coast and the campsite increased. And another factor which made Muweilah grow rapidly is when the domestication of camels started. Okay, so where do the people live here? So when I say Muweilah, Muweilah is kind of like the Indus Valley civilization in India. So Muweilah also consisted of it was like a huge society where the people all lived together. So initially the people lived in campsites which were made from arish, and later they lived in mud brick buildings which they built themselves. So constructed in the main from interlocked mud bricks and mud or stone brick walls. The walled settlement itself surrounds a large walled enclosure with 7 buildings, thought to have provided living quarters as well as administrative center. So which means that these places, it consisted of 7 buildings, and now these places were thought to have been used as an administrative center, and it was also a place where the people lived. So this central building contained at least 20 columns and has been a rich trove for archaeologists, with extensive finds of painted and sprouted vessels, iron weapons, and hundreds of bronze pieces. So Muweilah is actually a very rich, it's a place that provides rich heritage. It preserves the heritage of UAE. And in the coming slides, we'll know what all are the spectacular finds which were found. Now, there was something really peculiar that happened in Muweilah, which is because about 900 BCE, historians found out, when they dated it, they found that the people of the town had dug a massive ditch and a wall for protection. But why? We don't know. Perhaps they feared an attack. But whatever it is, their fears were well founded. Because about 100 years later, a fire broke out. The town was attacked and burned to the ground. Now, let me tell you, this fire was so destructive that like millions of people lost their life in this fire. But there were it was very surprising when you say that there were a lot of positive sides also of this fire. So what happened to the people when the fire broke out? Most seem to have escaped, but some died as the walls of the town collapsed around them. So you can already see how destructive this fire was. But why was it attacked? It's something that no one knows. It is still a mystery. There is no clear evidence that gives a proper supporting as to why it was attacked. But from whatever evidences that have been found, there can be some probable reasons. One could be the invasion of a foreign army, or it could just simply be the result of a conflict between two towns. Whatever it was, it is very clear that at the time it was destroyed, Muweilah was very, very wealthy. Now, when I said there was a positive side of the destruction of Muweilah, I meant that this destruction preserved many artifacts for archaeologists to find thousands of years later. And these artifacts included hundreds of ceramic vessels, bronze weapons and tools. Yes, it was the Iron Age. So that is why there would obviously be iron objects. Now, see, this is an exhibit in a museum. that showcases all the iron and bronze artifacts which were found in Muweilah. So the first evidence of writing in the UAE was found in Muweilah on a piece of pottery with the three letters of South Arabic, that is Ba, Ma, and La. Now, there were some spectacular finds which were found in Muweilah. Like out of all these archaeological finds, there were some that were really amusing, creative, and something really, really astonishing for archaeologists. Now, one of them was an incense stick with a incense burner with a figurine of a bull. Incense burner with a figurine of a bull, it's difficult to imagine. Okay, let me show you. See, this is how it looked. See, this is the figurine of the bull. Now, first of all, what is an incense burner? So we all know that the Arabs were really fond, were and still are very fond of perfumes and fragrances. So an incense burner would be used to burn the incense. The incense was placed inside it, and when it would burn, it would release the perfume, the scent, the fragrance, the smoke. So the incense was kept inside the burner, and this burner would be placed in the center of the house in the ground on the ground. And when the incense would start burning, the smoke would travel through these holes. Can you see these holes? Yeah, they would travel through these holes, and it would fill the room with fragrance. Now, other incense burners have also been found, and these burners contain figurines of camels. And this shows how important this animal was to the inhabitants of Muweilah. So we all know that the Arabs love fragrances, and this just didn't start today or yesterday or sometime or just a few days back. It has been going on since a very, very long time. The use of incense became increasingly common during the Iron Age. Iron Age, okay, and this began a tradition that is still an important part of local UAE culture. We all know how famous the Arabic perfumes are and how well known they are for their strong fragrance. Now, when I spoke about camels, there was another peculiar thing that depicted camels. So there was a terracotta camel found during early digs, which stands as the most complete find of its kind. How does it look? See, it looks like this. It's actually pretty amusing to see that at that time, that was between 1000 and 750 BCE, the people were able to so skillfully carve a camel which looked exactly like the real one. Considering the tools which were found at that time and the technology available, that we all know that there was no such modern technology, but compared to that time, they have really outdone themselves and they have actually made a very beautiful thing. Now, what is this place? This is the Sharjah Archaeological Museum. And what is this? It looks familiar, right? Yes, it is this. It's the camel. So, facsimiles of the piece of the camel currently decorate the gateway to the Sharjah Archaeological Museum. What is a facsimile? Facsimile means a miniature replica. So eventually, overland trade with the help of camel extended across the Middle East, and cities such as Palmyra in Syria emerged along desert trade routes. So in that time also UAE was very much into trade, and trade was carried out with the help of camels. Goods were carried on camel backs, and it was exported to lots of different places across the desert. Now, Muweilah is just one example of the many desert villages and towns that grew after the camel was domesticated. There are many more examples such as Eddar, Dibba, Maliha. So this is how it looked. Now the houses here look a bit more modern. Even though it's a desert region, the houses are a bit more modern. But in those times, the houses were made basically of arish. What is arish? This is arish. Can you see these bamboo-like, wood-like long sticks? Yes, this is arish. It was very commonly found there also. And it used to also provide a strong material for building houses. And it used to also provide very good ventilation. So houses were mainly made of arish, and slowly the people started building mud brick houses. So other desert villages have now been found in the middle of the desert throughout the UAE and Oman. So the people in these places traded goods across the UAE and into the rest of Arabia. As I had already mentioned, the people were very much fond of perfumes. And so at this time, that is during the Iron Age time, the people of the UAE began to trade with areas of Yemen and Oman for frankincense and other aromatics. What is frankincense? So earlier I had mentioned before that that incense is a type of liquid or a solid that is burned so that perfume is released. So frankincense is also one example. Can you see these images? Yes, this is frankincense. It would be kept, it would be burned, and this would release very beautiful. It would release a very aromatic scent. So this is frankincense. Now, let me tell you a very interesting fact about Muweilah. Do you know that Muweilah is one of the sites on the UAE's preliminary list to be nominated in the future to the World Heritage List? That's actually a pretty amazing fact. So that's about it, and this was all about Muweilah. This is my channel, Learning Now Simple. I hope you had fun learning with me. Please do keep visiting my channel, and thank you very much for watching this video.